Hello, family, and welcome back to another episode of Social Walking in Wisdom. And on this YouTube platform, we conduct character analysis. Why? Because in the 21st century, character matters. Family, it still does. And why people think it is okay to be acting out of character or decides to adopt a different character because they may have a different agenda. Character is the foundation of who we are, and it is important, and it transcends age and gender, financial status, and country and race. So, in considering the different characters that are portrayed by Nollywood movie actors and actresses and the depth of character, for me personally, as a leadership coach, I don't I do not see another platform, another industry that will allow me to do so many different types of character analysis sessions just based on the characters that are being portrayed. There are many faith-based movies, there are many types of relationships within the Nollywood industry that emanate from the screen, and the storylines are very profound. And in doing so, we're able to take, as a leadership coach, I'm able to share stories, not only about myself, but stories that I find that my clients will be able to identify with. And that allows them to open up even more. And they're able to relate. There's a connection and we move forward. So yeah, I use Nollywood movies when speaking. We're trying to teach lessons to clients or even potential clients, and sharing them that example really allowed them to think and self-reflect in terms of what's going on in their life. Hence the reason um, I've started using Nollywood movies in my sessions or even sharing it with family and friends. So, in addition to that, due to the inspiration of Sonia Uche as an actress and producer, as a woman of faith, as a daughter of Zion, as a woman of wisdom, I consider her, wow, woman of wisdom indeed. She always has a kind message and word for her fans, always encouraging us to elevate, regardless of whatever is out there. And she is so right. And as a leadership coach and a business strategist, we monitor the digital landscape and understand your digital footprint matters, and it does dictate exactly where you are. And it's important that you are aligned, right, with your brand. Your brand image must be aligned with your identity. Otherwise, you're just schizophrenic, right? So, having said that, welcome back to Social Walking in Wisdom, where we are Nollywood aficionados, Nollywood fans. And if you're a Nollywood fan, a man or woman of faith, you love feasting on Nollywood. You have your favorite actors and directors and writers and producers. And you ever wondered about a particular character and thought, well, it should have been done this way or this way. This is a great supplemental video. It's not too long, 15 to 30 minutes in duration on most videos, but it's a great supplemental video to understand a little bit more about the personalities in the movie. And your lessons learned. You can glean a lot of important information, hence the reason for this platform. And it certainly was indeed inspired by Queen Sosa herself. So let's go over, if you have not subscribed to Sonia Uchi Television, we are heading 1 million strong. Please be sure to do so. And of course, go out and support the movies that she has portrayed, many of them I have completed character analysis for. So it's a great supplemental learning if you're about leveling up and doing better. And you look at a man and a woman in the mirror and you know you can do better. And if you desire to do so, it's intentional. It starts with you. Yeah, these tools are here to assist you. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We're a new platform and we have 19 subscribers, 19 videos. So one subscriber per video. And as long as the numbers are going up, we're happy with that. But more important, as long as you're doing the work. These are the different movies we have done character analysis for. Some are high numbers, some are low numbers, so it varies. It depends on the individual. Clearly, it depends on if it's Sonia television, and that is fine as well. But family is about doing the work and just doing better. So if you have not seen any of these, including the famous chances, please be sure to do so. And to be better or bitter, as well as Wife by Barter. I thought it was a really good movie. And My Choice, I thought that was very good as well. And So-So's a Hard Place, good or bad character, absolutely. So please be sure to support, share, fan out, do the work. Comment if by chance you have a movie that you have seen and you wondered about that character. Leave it in my comment section and make a recommendation that I do a character analysis for. If you can go to my feed, you can see that folks are beginning to respond. And we do a shout out to at Linda31. She did a commentary. We were communicating. And then we have Stamping Out Toxicity requested a character analysis for Wear My Shoes, and as well as, I'm sorry, in the movie Chess. So we did a character analysis for the movie Chess indeed, right? And so it was placed in a comment section with my shoes, but absolutely. We'll work on bringing you different character analysis based on your faves indeed. And today we are in the movie looking at women, wisdom, a mother, a matriarch with her two daughters. We want to look at the topics of age shaming and considering one's single status in a society that's driven by the importance of marriage, which it is. I'm not saying it's not. As a woman of faith, I believe in a covenant of marriage, and it is so very important. But with the right person, with your God-sent person, not with everyone. And part of the dating scene is, what do we do in order to find that one? How do we go through the many trees and the many challenges in the 21st century to find that one person? Or should we remain silent and know that the God that we serve, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, will bring that person to our window? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. This is just food for thought as we consider this particular movie, and it inspired me. First of all, the beautiful Balaji Ugunmola, she will inspire anyone. She has her own television, but this movie was sponsored by Nollywood Studios, Nollywood Sharp Movies. So if you have not subscribed, let's give them the credit and go ahead and support them. And in the thumbnail, we have the handsome Isodike. So that was another reason why I clicked on it. But more important was the title, Singlet 40. So if you have not seen this movie, it was certainly a great movie. The person who plays her male interest is no other than the handsome Tommy Rowland. So it's not Isodike. Spoiler alert. It is indeed Tommy Rowland, but it indeed was a great movie because it has a lot of burdens. It had the very the noose of society around the neck of a woman once again. And we beg and answer the question, is a woman good enough on her own as she stands in her presence, in her beauty, as she reigns? Or is it required to have a man alongside her before she's accepted in society? And those are some of the questions we have to ask. I think the Western mindset has a different perspective versus the Eastern. I personally love the concept of matchmaking my parents, knowing the families. But what I've seen also, when you know the families, especially the families of wealthy, and they're the creme de la creme, the kids are normally spoiled and really don't have much substance. So we have to be mindful. And while we could do an introduction, I would recommend that you can do the introduction, but let the kids figure it out. And in figuring it out, please do not age shame them based on their status. So let's get into the movie Singlet 40. Um, it's focused on two women, sisters, one older, one younger. So hence the reason we have two beautiful sisters at both a younger age and an older age. And it lends to the perspective, the mindset of the mom, thinking that shaming would work. So body shaming doesn't work, age shaming doesn't work at all. And as a leadership coach, I can say that shaming only brings about hurt, and it can certainly impact someone's self-confidence, unless you have a whole lot. But if you're hearing this all your life, regardless of what you have aspired to be, and in this case, in this movie, Diamond is the name of the character played by Walaji, and in this case, she was an attorney, a lawyer, right? So at home, she was one person, maybe a very small child, getting berated by her mom. But in the professional arena, she could have been a stellar attorney, right? But she loved what she did. And at times, when a child is berated by a parent, then they put all their energy in their profession, and hence, at 40, 50, the person is single, but really focusing on their career. So shaming, age shaming, name shaming, color shaming, hair shaming does not work. It's not a motivating factor. There are two inherent motivational factors, intrinsic and extrinsic, right? Those are the two. Shaming is not one of it. Okay? It's not one of them that will motivate the person or will make the horse drink the water. It doesn't work. So let's get into the characters of today. The first one, the character analysis for Balaji is Diamond. Diamond is a protagonist in this movie and an attorney by profession. She struggles with, I would say, a lack of agency in her personal life due to family pressures. And even at 40, maybe when the mother speaks, she feels 12, 8. That's how much age shaming can hurt a child and an adult. Her leadership is seen in her ability to navigate complex emotional situations. I would still say she handled it well, even sometimes she had to walk away. And sometimes silence and walking away is the better, greater thing to do rather than to spit fire for fire. So she kind of gives in to her mother's demands in this movie, and I'll let you know how. But let's now get into the character of Clara, played by Frances Nawabunike. And again, forgive me if butchering your names. Maybe one day we'll meet in person and you'll be able to correct me, and I will humbly accept the correction. So let's move forward with Clara. She plays the younger sister of Diamond, Balaji's character, and she's a brat. I'm not going to use any type of sophisticated word. She is a brat, and it was all about her. And she took a knife and she really twisted it her sister's back and turned and turned and turned. In the professional world, that is called, she embodies a sense of manipulative and self-serving style. She knew in her society being younger and being the first to get married was an esteemed place to be. And some individuals are like, if there's no win or lose, then there's not a win. I ascribe to win-win. I do not subscribe to win-lose. Some people feast on win-lose, right? And they really get much joy and glory from seeing someone in pain and in tears. And for that, that's the win, right? That's almost a status. So don't do it. So the brat, Clara, she really tries to leverage her status and play up to her parents, her mom. But in the movie, her dad tried to chastise her. But at that age, Clara in the movie wasn't a teenager. She was also a young adult. So clearly she should have known better. So I would say, even though the movie did not show this, it's easy to see that there's sibling rivalry. And though the older sister Diamond is an esteemed profession, it looked like the younger sister always try to compete with the attention of the other, right? The oldest daughter. And I know in the Eastern culture, there's a lot of privilege and a lot of responsibility that comes from being the first daughter, Ada, which is a beautiful thing. So I think there was some inherent jealousy, and Clara certainly wanted to be, if not the physical Ada, because she couldn't be the firstborn. She's not, and that will never happen unless someone passes. But she just wanted and demanded the respect of her parents, and she did so by really showcasing the fact that I was chosen to be married before the eldest, therefore I am the success. That's pretty much what you can glean from that person's character. And then you have the character of the parents, particularly the mom. She demonstrated a traditional Eastern kind of authoritarian leadership. She quoted, "The pride of the mother is to see children get married and live happily." And I understand that. Absolutely. You want your child to be happy. But you have to consider the way in which you go about it, the words you speak. And again, shaming, berating someone is never a motivating factor. So the mother's constant pressure on Diamond to marry is really a form of coercive leadership. And she uses guilt and public shame to do so. And that was not cool. The other character is the character played by Tommy Roland, and that is he played the pretend boyfriend. By happenstance, during a white party in celebration of a sister, her mother encouraged her to go out there and entertain all the eligible bachelors. Now that I don't see a problem with that, right? If you want to date, if you want to get married, you have to really put yourself out there and you have to be intentional. So that was certainly okay. But again, the delivery could have been softer and wrapped in love. So Diamond's character did exactly that. I think she drank a little bit too much based on the pressure. And then that's when we saw the encounter. Fast forward, I would say that Tommy's character, the pretend boyfriend, is a mix of pragmatic and situational, right? He was able to use Diamond's situation to help resolve an issue that he was having with his mom. And Diamond didn't know that until she accepted his offer to be the pretend boyfriend. So he pretended, he did propose, not that he pretended, he did propose in front of her parents, really to shut the sister's face. In plain English, it was like, shut it already, sis. Bam. So he proposed to um, Diamond, and it was a beautiful thing. And as you move into the movie, you realize that he also had a proposition for Diamond. How about getting married for real? And the reason being that his mom was dying. That's it for the movie in terms of what I'm going to give you. I want you to watch the movie. Now let's consider the 21st century pressures of age shaming and shaming someone for being single. This film effectively highlights and captures some pressing issues in the 21st century. When we considered Omoni Oboli's movie Chest, that film also highlights some of the challenges with dating and the pressures of dating, that someone would make a determination, as successful as they are, to become a pawn rather than to maintain their throne as a queen. And as a reminder, if you did not see that character analysis, we indicated that men loves to chase and they love the challenge, whether you're in the East or the West. That's the one thing that remains the same from the East to the West. So having said that, it's important that as women, we remain our dignity, we maintain, my apology, our dignity and sit on our throne. Be intentional, be inviting, be open, but don't ever react and become a pawn. So in some cultures where parents go the extra mile to matchmake, which I love, I don't have a problem with that. I know clearly, however, especially when the families are wealthy, Not every child, when they're given everything on a plate and don't have to work for it, their character needs building, right? They lack character, they lack integrity, they lack ethics. So why would you want your child to be with someone with little or no character? Character matters in the 21st century. When you know better, you must do better. And if you're a man or woman of faith, your goal should be to build better character and remove some of the character flaws. And you could do so through self-reflection. So Diamond's character challenges the stereotype that a woman's success is incomplete without a husband. She had feelings, and though the feelings for the pretend boyfriend, Tommy Rollins' character, certainly came front and center, she still um, she still felt hurt when, amongst everything she achieved, it still wasn't good enough unless you're married, unless you're the wife of someone. So the pressures of dating and finding love was also explored. And again, the traditional matchmaking scenario was certainly a pivotal part of the movie. And in most Eastern movies, most Nollywood movies, whether it's Nollywood or Bollywood. So this movie also touches on the complexities of modern relationships, including transactional nature of a fake marriage. Just like in social media, most of what you see is fake and we get drawn into it. So it's important that we know the difference. As a leadership coach, I have to say, you must know the difference between fake and reality. And if you're living a fake life, don't. It's important that we are in alignment with who we are. And if you're a man or woman of faith, that's why I say I don't spend much time on social media, right? And if I do, what I'm looking at are things that are kind of funny to ease life woes. And if I have to do research of some kind, if it relates to my business strategy or my coaching sessions, then I'll do that. But really, the time spent looking at these Nollywood movies is my downtime. Other than that, I'm working, getting what I need to get done, and following up in terms of my obligations. But I don't recommend that you spend a lot of time on social media day in and day out. If your social media time is more than 2 hours in a day, not night, in a day, when there is light, then you're really hopping on excessive. And unfortunately, again, most information is fake life. So especially if you're a younger person and you aspire to be a particular person, fake life. So I would encourage you that you do not. Let's consider lessons learned. It can be categorized in maybe 4 or 5 ways. If you look at communication, understand that true happiness emanates from within. There has to be a level of self-acceptance at any point in time. And even if it comes from a parent or parents or sisters or brothers or family members that we love and respect, aunties and uncles, there still has to be a level of self-acceptance in terms of what's going on. As long as it's true, authentic, as long as it's aligned with the word of the Most High, if you're a man or woman of faith, then yeah, self-acceptance is very important. And understand that the reality is, even if you're intentional and intentional what you're dating, you can find love anywhere. Hence the reason in my character analysis of chess, we spoke about. So it's not a matter of a no or yes. It depends, right? And if you're dating and you're spending a lot of time in the workplace, if HR policies allow, then why or why not, right? It depends on your situation and circumstance. So the lessons learned, clearly communication, the central conflict could have been avoided with open and honest communication. Diamond is 40. Was this the behavior that she was undergoing for the past 20 years, right? And to be a lawyer, you have to be confident, and you must be an eloquent speaker and be able to analyze your thoughts and be a critical thinker. So with all of that accomplishments and 20 years of someone saying you're not good enough, that can have an effect. And coming home to that type of mindset can hurt someone. And those can have deep seated wounds. And those are wounds that must be addressed. And it cannot be left untouched because it wouldn't heal. It has to be worked on. And clearly the recommendation is to not to use a Band-Aid as well. Then understanding that true happiness comes from within. And the message from this film is a cautionary tale that happiness cannot be found by conforming to whatever societal expectations are, including that from your very home. Then the power of self-acceptance is so important. Try not to succumb to societal pressures. And even though with the pretend boyfriend, well, you have to look at the movie to determine whether she found love or not. I will leave it as that. But the power of self-acceptance is very important. And then the last part, understand that love can be found in a myriad of ways, unexpected places, unexpected times. And there's really no timeline aside from, of course, if you want to give birth biologically, there's a timeline. And I'm sharing this with you because I have an elder that I help, and she just announced to me just yesterday. So this is fresh off the press that she's engaged. She is 77 years old. And I said, congratulations to her. At any age, you can find love, absolutely. So congratulations to the elder. She'll be married in 2026 to a family friend, someone she met, she hasn't seen in 50 years, met, they got reacquainted, and the rest is history. So love can be found at any point in any time. That concludes another episode of Social Walking in Wisdom Family. If you have not considered subscribing, we kindly ask you to do so. This requires work and thinking, and it is a gift to the community. And if you would like to encourage this platform to continue to move forward and to really be front and center on the globe throughout the diaspora, so we could all learn, develop, and glean important information on our journey, on our faith walk, we encourage you to please be sure to, subscribe to this platform, leave your comments. If you would like me to do a character analysis, it would give me great pleasure to do so. Just let me know the movie, drop it in the comment section, like we had this young lady did. She asked for the movie Chess. She asked, and we delivered. And we're beginning to have some discussions here on our board. Here, she dropped the comment with the character analysis for the movie Wear My Shoes. And here you'll see when she asks for Omoni Aboli's movie Chess. And did we deliver? Yes, we did. Right? It was the character analysis for singles with the movie Chess was debuted yesterday. So we're on day one, and we encourage you to check it out. The reason why I did this particular movie, because it ties in. Is a follow-up message to Chess. This is Singlet 40, right? The different woes of dating in the 21st century at any age. So again, if you have not seen this one, we encourage you to support Nollywood Sharp Movies. Of course, we want to continue to support Sonia Uche. Let's bring her to 1 million strong. Please be sure to support Bolaji Ugunmola. She really have good movies. I'm going to bring you some critical analysis from her movie line. And then, of course, support me on this approach on helping members within our community throughout the diaspora improve professionally and personally. Character matters, and we need to do better. And rather than to have the social media squabbles amongst ourselves, amongst families, why don't we just look at a man and a woman in the mirror And if you say you're in your faith walk and you're a good person, you certainly can do better now that you know better. Family, that's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, shalom.